Good evening. Welcome everybody to Experience the People podcast. I'm your host, JL, the Anti-Guru, where we talk about interesting topics and interesting people. Tonight, my guests are Michael Banner and Derrick Pender, two very fine gentlemen that I met over the last couple of weeks. We're going to be talking about the food crisis. We're going to be talking about homelessness. We're going to be talking about all these things and how they interconnect. Guys, I certainly appreciate you taking the time out to talk with me tonight. I know you're busy men, but we certainly appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having us on. Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, man, it's what we do. You know, we want to bring awareness to a lot of different things. Michael and I met it's been quite a while. I met you through, what was my man's name? Victor.
Right.
And, But I know you're a horticulturist, grower extraordinaire. You probably got me in the shadows with some of the things that you do. But we're going to talk about some of that. And Derrick, I know you are involved with, or you're the founder of Mobile Peer Unit, or you just
Mobile Peer Unit. That's me.
Okay. Well, first let's go with Derrick, man. Tell us a little bit about Mobile Peer Unit and what it's all about.
All right. Yeah, I'm a recovering addict and alcoholic. So when I went to treatment, they call that dual addicted. So, one night, I mean, it was coming on for a little while. I just started feeling like, this ain't the right life that I'm living. Different things like that is what was going through my mind. So, and then one night I went to sleep in an abandoned house and I woke up and I just told myself that I'm tired of living like this. And I went on down there to Center Point and, had some technical difficulties down there. But we ain't got time to be going through all that.
Right.
So, but anyway, from Center Point, I ended up at Arca. And then from Arca, I ended up in a recovery house in a High Point. From there, I got a job. I started paying my rent. I was doing my 90 by 90, going to meetings every day. And I didn't have a car at the time. So my first job, I was at the Radisson. I, made a few dollars. Then I found out about another job, made a little bit more money, bought me a car. Stayed there probably a little over a year because I wasn't coming back here to Winston-Salem because, like they say, change people, places, and things. Right. So I knew I could not stay clean here, So, but, after like a little over a year, I was strong enough. I came back here to Winston-Salem where I'm from, and then this is where I'm at. So, and started off not knowing what I wanted to do. So I started driving trucks. Thought I wanted to be a truck driver. Mm-hmm. So did that for a little while. Then, I started, I got kids. And they growing up, I started pretty late having kids because, I had more sense than to be out there having kids, knowing that I was out there on the street doing what I was doing.
Right.
Barely taking care of myself, because I didn't even think that I was going to even live to see 30.
Wow.
So think about it. So, but while I was out there driving the trucks, I listened to the radio one time and I thought I heard something about kids doing heroin. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to check that out. So when I stopped off at the truck stop, I Googled it, and yeah, I heard it correct. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I need to do something about this. I'm in the wrong field. Mm-hmm. So I kept driving for a little bit, stacked my paper up a little bit, and just stopped driving trucks. But I had enough, I paid my rent up and everything. So and then I went to the same place. Some say go out there to Arca. So I went out there to Arca. And got a job with them. And, it started off part-time with enough money. So I had to go get another job. Went to Salvation Army. Boom, they hired me. So I worked in two part-time jobs, getting through. And a little later, I ended up hearing about peer support. So I took that training. And then when I took the training, the people down there at the place that trained me wanted to hire me. So I was like, nah, I got, I'm good. So, but a little later, I said, you know what, I'm going to take y'all up on that. So that's how I started on my journey with this right here, with the Mobile Peer Unit. Because while I was there, I was seeing things that actually needed to be done and was not being done, And so I knew, not saying I'm no better than nobody else, but I knew I could do it better. I
Right.
just keeping it real, 100 with you. I knew I could do it better. And some of the stuff that they was letting go on should not be going on. Because see, everybody that's peer support don't have that lived experience. See, I was out there. There's people out here in East Winston right now. They still call me 40 because every time you see me, I had a 40 ounce in my hand. So they calling me 40. Now ain't nobody said nothing about me smoking no crack. I ain't heard that one yet. But wait a minute, hold up. Yes, I did. Cause my baby mama came to me one day and she told me, she was like, yeah, they say he used to be a crackhead out here. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, what you tell them when they said that? I already know he told me. Yeah, so that's how that went down.
The thing is, now that was my drug of choice. I was
Uh-huh.
out there. I was on crack for I think about 7 years, and
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
well, I can't say like a lot of people.
I'll
I
talk to
was
you later.
selling powder, and then crack came on the scene in the late '80s, and we switched over to that.
Yeah.
And I used to watch the people smoke it, and that's back then they had those glass bowls and everything, and I would sit there
Right.
and I watched that smoke go around there, look like clouds, and that
Right.
thing fascinated me. And I finally was like, I want to try some of this. And the people I was with, they're like, man, you don't want to do this. You don't want to be bothered with this. They knew better,
Right.
but I
They was
kept
good
on
people.
asking.
They was good people.
Yeah, they was trying to look out for me, but I kept asking and kept pressing. And they said, okay, well, if you're gonna do it, you got to do it with us. And that's how I got started on that stuff. And of course, it got out of control. And but I was a functional addict. I kept my job because I wanted to keep my money so I could go out and use. But how I got clean, because I've been clean for 28 years.
Yeah.
My girlfriend at the time got pregnant, and I said, okay, I'm getting ready to be a father. I cannot let my child carry the shame of having a crackhead father, because people can be cruel.
Right. Exactly.
I started, my road to recovery. Of course, I relapsed 3 times in that process, but by the time she was about a year and a half, I had finally got free of it because, like I said, I didn't want her to grow up with that stigma on her, and I've been able to stay clean. And like you say, I had to stop being around all those people, all those places, and it was difficult, but it was worth it because every time I looked at that little girl, I said, okay, I want to be respectable,
Right.
So that was kind of my story. But, I think people like us who have been out there, we are better equipped to counsel and work with people like that because we know their struggles, we know the highs and the lows, we know what it's like to be out there. I hear some people, I couldn't have been on that. I say, well, you know what? You can say that because you ain't never been on it. I said, but these things are strong. They change your brain chemistry. You're not the same person you was before you started using.
Right.
And that's why I know a lot of these people over here. I live over here in East Winston, over here by Food Line. We got a large homeless population, and a lot of those people are
I be down there regular checking them out.
Yeah, I mean, of course, here in the last couple of weeks, it's been so hot. They ain't been out there as much. That heat drive.
I just left out from down there. You're right.
But that's the thing, and that's part of when I started growing food. That was a thought in my mind was that if I could grow some things that just to feed people, because like we were talking about, with Michael and I, we grow a lot of food, and we're in a food crisis, and but like I say, it ties into the homelessness. If I can't do anything, I can't help them get off the street, maybe, but at least I can feed them, So that's how kind of all of that stuff ties together with me. But Michael, tell us your story, man. Tell us how you got involved with what you're doing. You muted yourself, man.
Yeah, I did. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
Okay. Y'all stories really, really, really resonate with me because I came up in the same environment. Growing up on the north side of town, on 25th Street, actually think his name is, what's his name? The old farmer back in the day. Joe Schweitzer, Mr. Schweitzer,
Mm-hmm.
the watermelon man.
Yeah,
So
I remember him.
yeah, every summer him and some of my cousins, I think they call him Chicken Man. They used to build a like a produce stand on the corner of Cherry and 25th every summer.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times that's where my family go right through that little shanty and buy our food. But growing up, I was all through East Winston, North Side. Called myself being a crack dealer, a robber. You know what I mean? Doing all that stuff in the streets. And after my third bid in prison, about midway through my prison bid, I went to I cut meat out of my diet, and I pretty much was a vegan on steak. And I started helping me kind of take on a new mindset about stuff. I started getting a little culture about myself. When I got out of prison, it's a culture shock because in prison everything be so sanitized, hard, gray, steel, concrete. Then I got out, I was seeing all this yard and animals and sunsets, and when I got released, my mom was staying in Walkertown, and I went out there to stay with her, and I used to cut her yard and help her in her garden bed and stuff like that. Daughter, come on. And hey sweetie, what's up? So yeah, I started, I was just in love with being outdoors. I always loved being outdoors since I was a little guy. And I just took on a new relationship with the land. My mom, she ended up losing her space out there in Walkertown. And well, she didn't even lose it. She moved to Easton from there. And that's the place where I really started growing it. Started growing in her backyard. And once I had my daughters, my first daughter, I caught with my hands, you know what I mean? I was I guess I was the bed wife, you know what I'm saying? We had a home birth out there. As soon as I caught her, I laid on her mom, and we went through that process, cutting the umbilical cord and her breastfeeding and all that. I went outside, and me and my son, we had been spitting seeds out there in the big compost pile, and it turned into a bunch of cantaloupes. So we had like about 10 plants of cantaloupes out there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I stuck my hands in that soil, and I looked up at the sky. I made my vow that I was gonna grow food. So I know it sounds romantic or whatever, but that's my story. Like, that's how I started growing food. After I had kids, my kids, with me, they've never eaten any meat. You know what I'm saying? They haven't eaten any, period. I think one of them tried some chicken one day. They're kind of funny. You tried some chicken one day? Oh, I think her sister tried some chicken, and
Right.
she like, I don't think I'm gonna be. But her, it was grown like within the family. So, I said, okay, that's good. You got your experience, and yeah. So they pretty much been raised plant based, and just trying to keep a close connection with the land. So that's the kids, the babies. They've been my motivation and my inspiration for growing food. Just striving to shift a new paradigm in the city and eventually the world.
I can dig it. Now you got a
Yeah.
lot of initiatives going on with the city. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
People love to say I got initiatives with the city. That's
Well,
crazy to
I
me.
mean,
You ain't the first person I've heard say that. They down in the hood, down on Third Street, down in the so-called projects. They say they was calling me the city councilman at one time.
oh
Somebody
wow.
else called me the senator. Somebody else called me a caseworker, but I'm just from the neighborhood. Everybody I grew up around, I grew up probably selling them yay.
Right.
or you know what I'm saying? Like that's my history, but I turned a new leaf and I wanted to be proactive in being in my community and being positive and making a positive impact in that same community. So I'm really the antagonist of the city. So
Okay.
you know, my mom, she taught me the ropes. She's very much into politics, and I was very
bad renter houses, vacant houses, even empty
Looks
lots.
like you froze there.
They
I
froze
think
up.
that 4 years is up.
Oh, you back?
And we're back.
Okay, okay, all right. Pardon me. Yeah, I was pretty apolitical up until Obama. You know, I finally voted. Then my mom just kept drilling me and saying, basically, she'll disown me if I'm not active politically. You know, especially when Trump was on the rise. So I started getting real active. I'm more engaged in the local politics. I ran for the East Ward in 2020,
Mm.
but not to necessarily win the seat, but to wake the people up.
Right.
We ran on an agricultural platform. Like we ran as BRAP, which is Black and Brown Radical Roots Agricultural Arts Political Party, and was going for independent seat. So we had to go out here and get a petition and get up a certain amount of signatures.
Mm-hmm.
But once we achieved that, got the stamp from the Board of Elections, they started, you know, tricking it out. They found a way to disqualify our nomination because somebody from the Northeast, Paula McCoy, had got called out by Barbara Burke, and they said some of her signatures weren't from her ward.
Right.
But the thing was, you know, all of our wards have been purged. You could wake up in a different ward than you laid down in, you know.
Wow.
So they was moving the lines and, you know, popping up with these new precincts and having everybody was discombobulated. So we've lost a lot of registered voters in our community. So that's how, if we were, I mean, I went and took the sheet by sheet and got each sheet stamped until I reached the goal. It was all good to the end, but like I said, they found a way to like disqualify it. But that's the main thing I am with the city. I'm an antagonist. I'm an agitator, and at the same time, I'm a grassroots organizer. So I'm solely in it for the people.
Well, man, that's a great story. Well, listen, I know you're on the
Yeah.
road right now, and I don't want to keep you distracted while you're driving. But if somebody wants to get in contact with you and maybe get involved with what you are trying to do, how can they reach you?
Let Derrick go first.
Yeah,
So
I got no question for Derrick because
Okay.
I didn't want you to be driving and still
Okay,
trying
okay,
to
okay.
talk.
All right, I appreciate it.
go ahead.
I would go to islandculturez.org. That's our website. That's Z like zigzag zig.
Right.
And yeah, my email is the same site, islandculturez.org, but it's Michael in front. So it's Michael at islandculturez.org. But that's on the website. You can find me on there.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I'll
Well,
be on
man, I
East West and
appreciate
I'll
you
be in the
coming
island
on and
community.
sharing your story and telling us about
Yeah.
what you've been into. Wish you much luck. We're gonna have to definitely get together and try to organize some things. I'm just a grassroots going guy. You
Me
know,
too.
my story is back in 2020 when COVID hit, I lost my job and I didn't have anything to do. And the house that I live in was my grandparents' house. My grandmother always had a garden in the backyard, so I just started a small garden just to have something to do. And this is my third season. And every season, I just kept making it bigger and bigger. And now about half of my yard is a field, and I started out with just tomatoes and green peppers, that kind of stuff. And I think I grew some watermelon. And, like I said, if, 20 years ago, if you told me, asked me, would I be working in the dirt? I'd say, you're out your mind. I'm not that guy. But I find that it's therapeutic. It's more of a spiritual thing than anything. I feel I'm connected to the soil and the Most High is there with me. I talk to my plants and my vegetables, and my wife laughs at me all the time. She said, "Why are you talking to them things?" I say, "They're alive, baby. The planet is alive, and we need to connect with it." But like I said, now we've gotten to where we're growing corn, collard greens, tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. I got 3 varieties of watermelon. But that's my story with growing food, and like I said, it ties in with my desire and passion to help homeless people, because there was a time when I was almost homeless. If I didn't have family, I probably would have been on the street, behind all of the stuff that I was into. But Derrick, man, I appreciate you coming on.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell me more about what you're actually doing to help homeless people? Because that's, like I say, that's my passion.
Yeah, but well, see, right now, if they need somewhere to go or whatever, a lot of times somebody will call me or I see them out there on the street, and because they know who I am because I'm from here.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the same people that was out there when I was out there, they still out there.
Right. Yeah.
And I talk to them and everything, and they know that I'm here to help. I'm not looking down on them. I ain't trying to downrate nobody or none of this. So they'll come to me and I'll take them to a shelter, see if I can't get them in. And sometimes it might be a difficulty because just like the last person that I took a woman to the Bethesda Center, where she had actually got put out of the Bethesda Center due to a fault of her own.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got rules anywhere you go.
Right.
So but she didn't tell me all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when I got there, I found out she was out for 3 days. So I talked to the people because I had already been working with them with my last job that I had.
Mm-hmm.
So they know who I am. I know who they are. And they said that they would take her back in due to some circumstances that she had ran into right down there food line. So they took her back in, and I talked to her. I was like, well, look, I didn't even go through. You didn't tell me, everything.
Right.
You didn't tell me the truth. These people, they already told me. But I just told her, I said, now, they got rules in here. You need to follow these rules. So stuff like that, or some people need assistance with, you can clearly tell the person is mentally ill. They got mental health issues all day. Now they could have substance abuse issues too. Some people got all three. They might have mental health, substance abuse, and they're homeless.
Right.
So, and when I ask them, and they don't even look at me like I'm crying, I say, "You get a check?" And they're like, "Nah, I don't get no check." I say, "Well, you need to get one." So we'll go down here to Social Security and see if we can't start working on it. Different things like that. And then now it's some lawyer, I need to find out who he is. But in those cases, I got to get in touch with a lawyer.
Right.
And so, and he works to the point where he charges very little, and that's after you get your check.
Right.
And then he'll just let you just break them off some $50 or something.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I know some people that work with him, but I got to get connected with him myself. Just like basically whatever you need. And I'll see people sometimes out here on the street, and I have clothes here in my apartment. I got a little 1-bedroom apartment that I'm in, but I got clothes in here for women, men. I got shoes and all types of stuff people done donated to me. So when I see somebody out here on the streets,
mm-hmm.
They look like they need some shoes or what, I ask them what size. Then I check and see if I got that size, take it to them. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes clothes, the size, I can basically look at you and tell what you can wear. And I know whether I got that or not. So I just run home, grab something, take it to them. Okay, then, it's hot out here now. I got this one person, female, love water. Every time I see her in this heat, she wants some water. Right. So I freeze up some water, take it out there. Basically the food line where I saw you at down in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, different other places. You got Citgo, you got the BP. Got a few places over here in this area where I work, basically. Basically East Winston, that's my job. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Well, brother, I appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your schedule. I know you're a busy man. Again, same question. If somebody wants to get in touch with you or get involved with a mobile peer unit, how can they reach you?
Okay. My personal email, that's the one I check more. dpfosure@yahoo.com.
Okay.
Then I got mobilepeerunit@gmail.com.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, man, again, I just appreciate you. This thing with homelessness and a lot of times, and there's this one story I want to share with you, because I know a lot of people, they look down on these homeless people.
Right.
And again, just like I could never be on drugs. I say a lot of people, a lot of times you just one paycheck away from being homeless. All it takes is a major illness or something like that. But there was this one story I heard of. Guy, he had two elderly parents, and they lived in a condo, and so they were both sick. So he decided to quit his job and come and take care of his parents. Well, 6 months after he moved in, the father died. Don't know what he died of, but he died. 6 months after that, the mother died. So now he's in his condo, but a little while later, the guy who owned the condominiums, he sold them to somebody else, and the new developer was going to do something else. He was going to knock the building down and rezone it or do something else with it. So this guy ended up on the street. And I tell this story to people to demonstrate that everybody that's on the street is not a drug addict or an alcoholic. Some of them, they might have mental issues. I mean, who wouldn't have mental issues going and living on the street after they've been, living like normal folks or whatever normal is, and then all of a sudden,
I don't even believe in normal.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I don't believe in normal.
No, that's right. There ain't no such thing. I mean, my normal is some people say I'm the weird guy. I've always been called weird growing up because But like I say, now here's a story where a guy ended up on the street, and I said, now whose fault is that? Nobody. But these kind of stories happen. I met another lady right at where I was getting ready to go to work, and she said that her landlord raised her rent, and she just couldn't pay it.
Right.
And she ended up on the street.
Well, there's people out here on the street with their kids. It's not the kids' fault.
Exactly.
That they're homeless.
See,
we got to do something about all that. And then this city right here don't really have too many places where they got one place for women and children in this whole city.
I see, that's we get plenty of money.
Yeah.
But they spend money on all these things that to me ain't worth nothing. And, but I tell people, I say, well, why won't they do anything? I say, because they don't see no profit in people. They can't equate the profit of helping somebody get back on their feet. And that's a sad thing, but it's kind of the world we live in. People don't value each other anymore. They don't care about each other. It's very selfish and self-centered. And, but that's something that we definitely want to try to change. I know like yourself who are willing to get out there in the trenches and actually talk to these people, because that's what I do. I mean, I talk to them. I treat them like human beings because they somebody's mother, brother, sister, whoever, and they're people. And, if we can get more people involved and more people interested in you don't have to do a whole lot. I mean, like my wife and I, we cook food on Fridays. Sometimes when we have something left over, we'll feed some of them, if we can, and then but it's funny. I've had some who, I know they out there on something, because I remember we offered, one guy asked him, did he want something to eat? He's like, no, I don't want nothing to eat. Can you give me a couple of dollars? Well, no, I can't give you no money, bro. I mean, you got to be hungry, and that's what I tell people, these people are out here in the weather. It's hot as all get out. You don't know when the last time they had something to drink or something to eat, but just treat them with a certain amount of respect and give so that they can have some type of dignity. They're already in the lowest place they can be. They don't need you to beat them down anymore.
Right. Because those are people.
Yeah.
They somebody's family.
Amazing to me how people they really look down on them, and I've been guilty of it at times, because when you got some of those folks out there, and I see the same people, and now if they ask me for some water, or if they ask me, can you get me something to eat, I can do that. I just can't give you money, not knowing your story. And that's sometimes I try to engage them and say, well, what's your story? Tell me what's going on with you. But they don't want. Some of them don't want to do that.
Well, see, me, I already know what most of them want with the money.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna sit there and give you no money. I'm not contributing to that. I'm not no enabler.
Right.
But yeah, you can get some water. Hey, if I got some shoes you can wear, some clothes, something like that, yeah. Or if you need to go to the shelter, or you need to try to get you a check together, or whatever you want to do, so I've been trying to get some bus passes. So I'm thinking about getting those so people can move around on their own.
Right.
And then so some of these places where I might take you, you can actually get there on your own sometimes. And see that's the best way.
Trying to get them to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, that's right. That's see. So a lot of people, what they want numbers. They say they're helping you or whatever, that they here to help. Okay, but all they really want is you to come in to their little organization or whatever and sign your name down there so they can turn that in and show that this how many people we had coming. And they don't care if you just keep coming. See, that's not my mission. My mission is to move you up and out.
Right.
Yeah, you supposed to be, okay, if you come to me homeless, well, at least now you in a room or you got your little apartment or something and you working. You see what I'm saying? And then so even if you're not totally clean, it's something called harm reduction. At least you can cut back on what you're doing. Whatever got you down, cut back on that a little bit. Sooner or later, if you can cut back, you can get off of it. See what I'm saying? So that's, I want to see progress and then move on to the next one. Not saying I'm gonna cut this one off. I'm still gonna check and follow up with them. It's ways to do stuff that I wasn't seeing it being done like that. So that's why, I'm here. Yeah.
Well, brother, we appreciate you. We definitely applaud you for what you're doing. I wish we had more people like you, because maybe we could make some real changes. But it only takes one person.
We're gonna get it done.
Jesus was one man, and he had a huge effect on a lot of people. So you never know. But
right.
You're being hailed by an enemy vessel.
That's my cue. War
All right.
being hailed by an enemy vessel. We're gonna have to end our interview today. Brother, I appreciate you coming on and being with us. Listen, guys, if you're enjoying the content, you can always come on over to JL the Anti-Guru. That's my YouTube channel. Remember my 3 R's. Respect yourself, respect others, and always, always take full responsibility for your actions. We love you. We'll see you next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Later.
All right.
Great work. Appreciate you.